little bit different today. We've cut the 40s completely out of the sideboard, and we've took the meltdowns out of the main deck. We've also put no immolating glires in the main deck, and we're just willing to lose the mono red, and we're trying to improve the reanimator, ramp, and blue black matches, and the mirror. So just hop into the game and hope we get some of the right pairings and see how it goes. We're hoping that we don't drop frames today. I saw a list online that 5 the other night that had one less hieroglyphic illumination and one more land. That is one of the next things I think I'll probably try. Um, the season's winding down. We get Ixalan in just 2 weeks, so we're gonna be playing a lot of different decks, but we'll keep coming back to this deck, even though I don't think it's good for the meta, just because it's kind of our signature deck, kind of what we're known for. So there'll probably be less blue-white streams, but do expect some. If there's any decks that anyone would like to say, please tweet out, or like to see me play, please tweet at me and give me a suggestion or a deck list. And I'm not promising I'll play it, but it's something we'll consider. I think this sounds fine. The Sandstorm and Supreme Will actually are pretty good. Versus different decks, you can choose. I can choose whether I'm going to cycle them for cards or whether I'm going to actually counterspell spells. And we already have one counterspell. Or sorry, we already have one approach. It was very likely a mirror, which means this hand gets. Honestly, it's okay. We already have a bunch of lands, which is nice. Yeah, could also not be a mirror. Could not be a mirror at all. Hey, local, Anarif and Corey. Corey, coolest of cats. Of course, Corey Cool Cat would log in as soon as somebody's playing a cool cat versus us. What are you? At the beginning of your combat, target creature token you control gets +1/+1. Nope, that card seems good enough to counterspell as well. So our opponent's playing like a blue, white, and bomb deck. Makes me kind of happy. We still have the Descents in the sideboard. Be curious how many counterspells he has. Alright, Champion of the Wiz. So it really is just an Bomb Eternalized type deck. So that's kind of cool. Oh, and a pool. What's this one do? Dust to Dawn. Dust to Dawn's kind of neat. We might as well use it now. Even though he gets all the value. Quite honestly, if he's taking the time to get that type of value, it shouldn't be hard for us to get this type of value. Also watch Totem TG play opponent's deck today. Oh, how'd you do? Oh, that was neat. Hmm. Yeah, I think I was asleep when he streamed. I like that guy a lot, though. That guy's good folk. He's a good American folk hero. Thought the pull from tomorrow was kind of an interesting card choice. I forgot that thing was a 4/4. That thing's rather large. Yeah, well, the thing is rather large, and I had forgot about that. For some reason, I was thinking it'd come back as a 2/2. Still have a cast out for it, though. So we'll take one big chunk here, and then like a cast out will give us, in theory, quite a few turns. But I want to go ahead and get the approach because like we can like top deck fumigates or top deck another approach or something like that. We're not casting both, so go ahead and cycle one because if we hit a fumigate, that'd be better. And we need to survive at least 5 turns. On board, we don't do that if he draws on land. Just need to like draw a little fumigate or something on these turns, I think. Assuming opponent has no counter spells in his deck, I would imagine this game's actually hard to lose, but not impossible to lose. So now Supreme Wills are even out. Kinda need a Supreme Will or a Fumigate, though. I guess 3 Cyclers would also do it. 3/1 mana Cyclers, rather. So an Approach, a Fumigate, a Supreme Will, or 3/1 mana Cyclers are what we need. And we need him not to have a counterspell. Well, the first 1 mana Cycler. Now Supreme Will is no longer out. That's a 2 mana Cycler, so now we have to have Fumigate. He's got a Rivulet, so like getting back to the approach isn't really a thing. Well, I hit 2 approaches there. So need to Fumigate. It's not a Fumigate. Are we dead? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess not dead. Oh no, he sacked the Shufflet Dunes. Yeah, well, we may get one more. Thank you for the host, Eric. Appreciate it. Wonder how your modern stream went today. So I have 2 approaches in the deck, and we still have all 4 fumigates. Like 24 cards down now and not hit one yet, so. So a decent chance to. Well. Have another turn. So a Gideon's good here. Any of my removals good here. Basically anything but a land in our deck was pretty much good there. Huh. So what do we got? We're just gonna bring in all of these. SS Scatter's probably not great versus him. Blessed Alliance probably isn't great versus him. Probably trim on one of these. I think I like the Supreme Wills a little more than the Hieroglyphs here. Maybe not. I don't really want to counterspell anything he has, do I? So I wouldn't have guessed we could have ever lost that last game. We did find a way, though. The 6 rafts would have to try to get past his negates or whatever counterspells that he has. Wonder if in matches like this, if it's okay just to take all of the approaches out. Doesn't feel like approach is a card I really want here. We have our color of the lands now. Definitely not going to cycle to cast out. I think it's actually good versus him. Sure. Random 2/2. I have the second Fumigate now, so I'm just going to go ahead and slam one. You also can't counterspell it, and it may Use a good portion of his mana on the following turns. Like the fact that he could like discard a sacred or a scared cat to the champion and then play the scared cat too. The sacred cat. I call it scared cat, but whatever. It's kind of a little cute synergy. We're actually bigger on table than him now. Next turn we can play a cast out Anastasis Snare if we want. Huh. Opponent didn't buy back the other thing. And he didn't play anything. So I guess he's got like a cast out or something, and that's fine. He's gonna cast out this thing then. Wait, what? It's kind of an odd interaction. Not super worried about it though, because like I said, this is just to buy time. If I could have found a way to attack with it, sure. But like, the plan isn't to attack with it, so. So they have invasive surgeries in their sideboard as well. Wow. They had to get real lucky with that Rivulet too. Hey Dong, how you doing, man? I appreciate it. Can't even read that number. That's weird. How you doing today, Dong Diggity? Hope it is doing well. I'm pretty sure I can still win by just attacking. Not worried about using the Supreme Will right now. I just want to get as deep in the deck as I can. The standardization? That's, I'm confused. You're talking over my head, man. So is he going to attack with these things? I think, sure, I guess we'll block. I have Fumigate, so. What's this thing? Hmm. Let's see what happens with this. If you guys are asking why I didn't cycle this last turn, it's because I hit F6. Probably should have definitely cycled. Does he have in his graveyard to bring back? Like a bunch of stuff still, so I guess let's give him a reason to before we play the Descend. Sure. We'll use this thing too. Just want him to use all the things in his graveyard. He's already of invasive surgery to our approaches, so our only way we're winning is with our creatures. And the only way our creatures are good is if we make him spend his creatures. He still has 3 more things in his graveyard he can buy back. That's one of them. That was a good draw for him. It was a good draw. Did he put another creature in his graveyard? It's like playing around my things pretty well. So he's at 1 card in hand, and we have a Gideon and a Descend. Still has 3 things in his graveyard that he can embalm. That's the biggest of them. So this is the last thing he can embalm. Alright, well, we're going to play this. If he has his 3rd negate, he has his 3rd negate. Well, I guess that does it too, then, doesn't it? He has multiple invasive surgeries in his sideboard. That's pretty not good for us. We may have to bring in negates if we get to a game 3. Kinda far behind right now, though. We're ahead on board, so I guess that's something. Oh, we can't block that? Oh, wow. That's sick. Yeah, we're probably in bad shape then. I did not know what all that card did. Yep, certainly in bad shape now. I thought we were in good shape, but we're hurting pretty bad now. We've already gone through 3 fumigates too, so there's only 1 more fumigate in our deck. Hmm. I kinda want to try to negate this. Or I kinda want to try to cast out this. I don't think I want him drawing more cards. So I guess we swing back into the lead. Could have tried to kill the cat, I guess, but well, that was a good one. That was a good one, friends. So now we kind of really need to draw one of our Linvalas. Actually, we really just want to draw a Glimmer. We've not drawn a Glimmer out of our game, have we? I don't think we've drawn a Glimmer out of our game. Another cat would also be acceptable. Yeah, Red Rover, send that one on over. Eh, it's a crap ton of life. You can technically eat two of the cats, but I'm fine with that. Trying to get the Glimmer in the graveyard, or trying to get the champion in the graveyard now. Like, our kill condition may be Rivulets now. Not exactly sure. That was a good draw. Certainly not another land. We've currently drawn about 50% of our deck as lands, which is a lot. So opponent technically has 4 cards left. Well, that's what we were looking for. I'll put that one on bottom, this one on top. This will pass turn. Are you looking to do some blocking now, finally? If our opponent has another negate or another invasive surgery, we're probably pretty hurt. They've already played 4 counterspells on us. I guess we can put this one on top. Well, that's not good. Sucks if he has a removal spell for the cat. In fairness, I probably shouldn't even have done this because of that. Yeah, I probably should have just jump blocked. Alright, I guess that's probably game then, right? Pretty hard for us to win now. We did draw about 50% of the lands in our deck, though. We've definitely drawn more lands than spells in a 20-turn game, which is kinda ridiculous. I don't know how we get his last 2 cards. It's one of the problems I'm having here. I assumed he might move that over. So that's like a 16-point attack. Yeah, but I have to assume when he's this deep into his deck that he's going to have a he's going to have a negate, right? AZ Magic, thanks for the host. Thanks for the host, man. I hope your stream went well today. I noticed you were streaming vintage, and I was jealous that I can't afford the vintages. Yep, so we basically have to hope one of the 4 cards in his hand isn't very good. I'll go ahead and sack these now in case for some reason I need to play like removal into removal next turn. Or sort of like card draws into card draws or something. They somehow have to survive 2 more turns. We milled no more negates and no more invasive surgeries of those cards, so that means all the rest are probably in his hand. Well, can't negate or invasive surgery this, I guess. Still don't think we get there. I think he's going to win with like 1 card left in his library. Or or 0 cards. Sorry, 0 cards left in his library. Hey, Yun Yun. Don't believe I saw you around before. Doesn't have a great attack this turn, but he has a good enough attack. Could just be lethal, too. Doesn't take a lot for him to be lethal here. Like, 2 cast outs would do it. Stasis Snare cast out would do it. Oh, fair enough, man. This thing's unblockable next turn as well, so... Our opponent's going to get the sweet 1 card left in library win. Potentially. We could draw like another Limvala. He can't counterspell that. Oh, another land, and we are dead. Alright, no out. That was disappointing. We definitely drew more than land. In a 22-turn game, we drew more lands than spells, which is pretty insane. Considering we were putting lands on the bottom with some of our other card draw spells. But, it's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. We did draw 3 Fumigates. I didn't think we could lose that game. I didn't think we could lose game 1 or game 2. Like, I felt pretty far ahead in both games. The double invasive surgery was pretty killer. Thank you for following Coralight and Poolers. Yeah, Paul's deck was kind of sweet. Oh, we went to Dastro again. I believe this hand's keepable. Cards that have like cycling and pseudo cycling let you keep a lot weaker hands than you normally would. That could be bad. If he's on blue-red control, we're fine with it. If he's on like the blue-red zombies, we probably can't beat it. It's a fairly long game if it's blue-red control. Like, the plan to beat blue-red control is actually millstoning them. We're just looking for a land. Wow. We didn't get a land. Rip. Alright, we'll take Censor then, since we're probably cycling whatever it is. And the cast outs are more useful to us. Even though the cast out on the bottom of the deck's not particularly good. Still better than having it, probably. Keeping lands and glimmers, and that would be it with this. Hey, found a glimmer. Um, it's just not needed, and having the extra colored sources that can produce both just a little bit better. Like, they do get to deal some damage to us. The damage matters a little, and the game's going to go super long anyway. Like, we will find that rivulet again. Like, this isn't a match where you don't find a rivulet again. And we don't care if he counterspells it now because he has to use something other than a sensor. The damage does matter a little bit, though. Pretty much where we want to be at now. Like how we've played 6 spells just to have the same amount of lands that our opponent has without playing any extra spells. Or, I guess we've not played 6 spells, but I mean, like, have 6 spells in our graveyard. But basically, we're 7 cards deeper than our opponent, which is kind of bad, but it's not the end of the world. It's going to get worse, though, because, like, we can't afford to miss land drops. It's actually kind of ridiculous that our opponent's not had to look for a land. But I'm going to go ahead and play this because we'd be discarding it anyway. Don't care if it gets counterspelled, like I said. I was going to discard this card here anyway. It's like really not part of the game plan. So I guess our opponent's finally ready to miss a land drop. Game 2 and 3 are a little more interesting than Game 1. Game 1, we kind of just both sit back and do nothing. Oh wow, they have the Black Splash, so that's actually a game changer. It's really hard for us to beat Nicobolas. I have to be a lot more cautious now. We don't have any hard counter spells in our main deck, so we can't really even be that much more cautious. So our opponent's currently at 35 life. 34 life. They have Glorybringers main deck? Uh-oh. We could be having a problem here. So our opponent's playing a more non-traditional list of the deck, which could be causing us some issues. Well, the problem with that is, like, the Gearhulk can just kill us, right? Like, he's going to slip the Nicobolus through whenever he wants. So, like, if we take 2 or 3 hits from the Gearhulk, the Nicobolus just kills us when it comes down. Like, we have no hard counter spells in the main deck. Because Snare is, we only have 5 answers in the deck to Wandering Fumaroles. Like, we only have 5 ways in the entire deck to kill this card. And Snare's one of them, and the only one that we currently have in our hand. Like, if he just played a second one of these, we literally couldn't beat a second one of these. If we keep our life total high enough, like, we can find another cast out, right? Like, there's more cast outs in our deck. We don't want to have to find another one, but, like, we can. It's one of the last card draw spells I'll probably play this game. Actually kind of worked out great. So he's going to disallow this and we're going to get a Fumigate through. Yeah, that worked out great. It's bad versus Nicobolus, but... let's be frank here, most things we have are bad versus Nicobolus at this point. Don't want to just go ahead and play the Gideon. Sure. Kind of running out of cards here. Our opponent still has 6 cards. Because that lets him kill the Gideon too easy with Nicobolus. Like, Gideon coming down post Nicobolus is not the end of the world. And I'm willing to take 1 hit for him to tap mana or whatever. But I'm trying to save this for Nicobolus. Like, we're in pretty bad shape. Our opponent has 3 cards, or our opponent has 3 more cards than us. And at least some of them are going to be reactive spells. Yeah, we're pretty far behind now. The fact that we had to use all of these just to find lands and he just drew lands naturally put us at a very big disadvantage. The fact that he drew those lands naturally, we had to use all of those spells, and then we've drawn 5 more lands than him after that, didn't really leave us with any gas. Because he'll certainly have hard counter spells at this point. It's kind of weird. Just tapped a random island for no reason. Or did the game like? I guess he cycled a sensor, but on my screen like the island didn't move until after, which was weird. It's one of those weird things where like Moto must have repositioned the cards when he played an additional land. Kind of interesting disallow. Yeah, well, the fourth Fumigate isn't what we really wanted. Maybe useful, but it's not what we really wanted. Not keeping that Rivulet's looking foolish now, but the time I don't think it was that bad. I'm not going to play this one. Essence Scatter's a nice draw. I think it'll be interesting. It'll be when he draws the Nicol Bolas, I think, that decides whether we win or not. We're getting closer and closer to drawing our third Rivulet, too. I would say that Wandering Fumarole will start some kind of fight. If I was going to guess. It's unlikely that we need all these Fumigates for the rest of the game. Oh wow, he's not attacking? Okay, he is attacking. I was surprised. I didn't think he was going to attack. Yeah, it could be. That'd be much better for us if it was. That's for sure. Whoops. We'll try to gain the 4 life as well. Don't forget that his deck plays disallows as well, so like just having the 2 Rivulets doesn't guarantee a win. Like, I have to be careful when I play these. Like, I'm just not playing anything if he doesn't play anything. I guess that's the one card I would play. Right, like that messes with his mana enough that I think it's worth it. Turn 25 approach, baby. Alright, well, we didn't care about that card anyway. We were just playing it really to tie up your lands, and that ties up your lands either way. We know the bottom 10 cards of our deck, so we know there's another approach in the top 7 cards as well. Speaking of which, don't care if he counterspells it. Like, this resolving isn't a concern. I don't know if it's an easy win. Again, Nicol Bolas is still a threat here. Alright, well, I guess Nicobolus isn't a threat. I was wrong. Maybe his black cards are for his sideboard, or maybe he doesn't actually have black cards. Maybe he's just playing the pool to have an additional cycler. Seems to be an odd concession to me. Opponent having 15 or 5 cards still in his hand and only 15 cards in the library. It's hard for me to imagine that one of these cards wasn't relevant. Huh. Yeah, that was extremely unexpected. Like, I thought we were in good shape as long as like Nicobolus didn't come down the next 3 or 4 turns, like good shape to win. But I certainly didn't think it would be the random turn 26 approach with our opponent having 6 cards in hand. I did not think it would be this turn. Anyway, move on to the sideboard. Bring in the Dispel, bring in all 4 negates, bring in the Summary Dismissal. They have Finganice's post board, they sometimes have Dragon Master Outcast post board, and they sometimes have like Jace's and stuff post board. But in general, I think the Blessed Alliances are considerably worse. I think the Gideons are considerably worse. I think the Fumigates are considerably worse. So, like, we're not going to take out all the Fumigates because of the cards I just mentioned. Some of them even have like Whirler Virtuoso in the sideboard. We are going to cut all the Blessed Alliances. And I'm trying to decide whether we're going to go back to the Broach plan or whether we're just going to try to cat scratch him. Yeah, the Outcast is a pretty huge threat. Makes Gideon probably worse than Stasis Snare, but the Gideons are also good versus the Thing in the Ice. This is the first time I've tried this many counterspells versus them. I usually in the other builds we've had more cards from mono red, so we've not had all these counterspells in the sideboard, and we've always had to bring in cats to try to win. But I'm going to try this game without cats. If this doesn't work out, I'm going to bring back in cats for game 3. But with the additional counterspells, I'm going to see if we can pull it off without cats. But we're going to leave Fumigates in the deck because of Thing in the Ice and because of the Outcasts. It sounds pretty good. We already have 3 land drops without cycling. A Thing in the Ice could get away from us. But other than that, the hand seems pretty good. Well, it's less chance of a Thing in the Ice getting away from us when we have that. So our opponent's doing the cycling this game. If he's got a Cannon Sleuth, he definitely has to have Nicobolus, right? I've just decided that the mono red match is way too hard if I don't have Effort Meltdowns and Immobilizing Glares and more 2-drop removal spells in my main deck, and I just don't want those 2-drop removal spells in the main deck. So if I'm going to lose the mono red anyway, I'm not going to tie up 3 sideboard slots to make me go from a 35% to like a 45%. I just don't think it's worth it. It doesn't make me a favorite in the match by itself. I think I have to have the other cards as well to be a favorite in the match. And I think the other cards make us worse versus Ramp and Reanimator and Blue Black and things of that nature. So just looking for more positive matches across the field while giving up a little equity into one match. This is the general reason that I cut them. We've also not been getting paired versus Mono Red as much. Mono Red's only been like 10 to 15% of our matches lately. And I'm willing, and Ramp and Blue Black have been like, probably 40% of our matches over the past week. So, or like Blue White Approach Mirrors fall in that same category. I think it's just better to be. I haven't found a build of the deck that beats both sets of decks. So I feel like I have to be weak versus one or the other regardless. I'm open to any ideas in the world that lets me beat both, though. I cycled the cast out as opposed to the censor because we could still censor a Torrential Gearhulk on this particular turn. Didn't really want to cycle the other cast out though. Stopping 4 mana in his main phase for a Scarab God. Alright, well, a Scarab God can resolve. You might have been right, James. It may just be Scarab God. No, I did not think of. I don't think I need authorities for the zombies match at all. The only other match I like it in at all versus is Teamer, but I had recently been cutting it even versus Teamer. It's good versus the Big Chandra and Glorybringers and Teamer, but after more and more testing, I've just found that it's been kind of like a crutch, and I've not really felt like I needed it versus them. The zombies match feels close to unlosable as long as you're playing the Cats, the Descends, and the Linvalas on the board. But again, the zombies match is also a match that I'm finding less and less of in the format. So like, there's a chance that I cut some of the Descends. I still like the Linvalas and the Cats though because I think they're both very good versus Teamer. And if he's got 2 counter spells, this will be unfortunate. Alright, doesn't have 2 counter spells. Nice. I think if I was going to go to a Grand Prix or like a Nationals next week, I'd think there would be enough mono red that I would probably need cards like that, but I'm not really sure. Like, it seemed like at Japanese Nationals, like mono red, or sorry, that Teamer was like the deck of the tournament, and like this deck kind of crushes Teamer. Uh, You know, it was. He only had 2 lands left. You're right. Sorry. I got to talking and I wasn't paying attention. Good call. Good call. I definitely missed that. That's a good catch. Very, very, very good catch. I tried the Sphinx and I just didn't have much success with the Sphinxes at all, and I ended up cutting them. I don't know if I should. Wait, opponent said GG. I'm not sure why he said GG. Yeah, whatever. Says he can't beat approach ever. Yeah, I do feel that approach is a favorite versus the non-black blue decks. The non black blue other control decks rather. Anyway, if you like what you're watching, you should hit the follow button and you should look in the description down below, and also follow my YouTube and or my Twitter if you want. On the Twitter, you can see every time I go live and all the deck lists I play. On the YouTube, you can see a rebroadcast of all the streams, some content that hasn't been on streams. There'll be more of that at some point. And also on the YouTube, if you're watching from there, in every description below the video is a link to the Twitch, the Twitter, and the deck list. Hit play. That's fair. That's fair. It is definitely good versus the control decks. It's definitely good versus the control decks. But then again, I guess if they know you're bringing it in, they can just like bring in their Tutor Slaughters and stuff, right? This is kind of an interesting hand. We're light on lands, but we have 3 Supreme Wills. Playing first, so we have 2 draw steps. Yeah, we're over a few. We have a high enough chance to hit it. I think this hand's keepable. You can also hit cycling spells, which, you know, there's plenty of in the deck. This is a hand that I probably wouldn't keep if there was Port Towns in our deck. But there's not Port Towns in our deck, so makes me feel a little bit more confident keeping it. Hey, Elite Game Dover, thank you for the auto host, man. I appreciate it. Well, Red Rover, send us that land on over. Land? That is not a land. I think we're supposed to keep that, though. I would do the math, but I'm too lazy. We are, what I like to refer to as in bad shape now, though. Uh-oh. Maybe he will attack us with just a Hydra. Wink. Still gonna use it. Yeah, I just checked. We were a 68% chance to hit the land, so that's definitely a keep. We just happened to not get it. And then we had redraws of any cycling spell. And now we're just dead. So we have no outs to this. Can't beat both creatures and Ashandra. In general versus the Teamer decks, I like to bring in all of these. I think they're all pretty useful. I think the Gideons are actually a little bit worse than you would imagine. I think the Hieroglyphs are a little worse than you imagine, and I generally don't want to draw 2 approaches. I think now that I have the Essence Scatter wasn't in the other versions of the deck, that I'm going to remove 1 Supreme Will for the Essence Scatter and just try the 4th approach. Yeah, like I was saying before match 1, that I noticed another 5-0 list had 26 lands the other night, and I'm really thinking that I should probably be on the 26th land, but I mean, like, Mathematically speaking, we were almost a 70% chance to hit that land that last game. But I do find myself wanting to draw a land with this deck, like, a lot. Find myself wanting to draw a land with this deck just a lot. Like a very, very large number. I do like the idea of the fourth desert. I've been considering that for a while. I'm not sure how good my Blighted Cataract is. Might even want a fourth and a fifth desert. I think censoring the servant's good because the servant makes all my other censors worse. And that replaces itself, so that's fine to hit as well. We still have one more counterspell. We could even cast out a Bristling Hydra now if we wanted. He didn't play anything. Which means we will also play nothing. Have our land drop for next turn anyway. Sufficiently punished. Yeah, I do think I've won a 26 land. Like, I've waffled on the 26 land myself quite a bit. I've never pulled the trigger on it, but I feel like I want it pretty badly. That's odd. Doesn't have a play? Is it all double red spells in his hand? Or is he just trying to get to, like... Well, and he F6'd. Like, he's not even considering counterspelling anything. That's, not what I expected. There's our 7th land. And by 7th, I mean 6. I can't count. Sure. I think it's safe to get rid of this now. Really just wanted a land for casting to approach next turn. The exception is Chandra. He can't resolve anything that I care about anyway, and if he does have Chandra, we still have a cast out, which obviously isn't the best answer in the world because they could have Appetite or like Negate or whatever, but like it is an answer. Interesting. He just like played nothing again. What could his 5 cards be that he's just continuing to play nothing? It's kind of interesting, but we know we can draw our approach next turn though, so we'll probably do that. Especially if he taps out or anything, then we'll definitely do it. I guess he just has like a thunderous amount of counterspells. Eh. In general, I think it's worth trying. Like, he doesn't have to have the answer. He just likely has the answer. We discarded an approach. So we knew we were going to draw to approach this turn. And we knew we had 7 mana. It's just, does he have the negate? He did, in fact, have the negate. And still pretty good, though. We have 2 more approaches in the deck. Now he's tapping this for mana, so he's got another negate. guess he doesn't think it's worth negating that. I wouldn't negate it either. If he doesn't play something soon, I really am just going to play this cast out and try to get him. So he's attacked with this every single turn of the game until now, the one turn we've drew Blessed Alliance. Is that suspicious at all? Like, literally attacked with it every single turn it's been in play that he didn't use it for mana until the one turn we drew an answer for it. Still has 5 cards in hand. Like, he has to have something. Big Chandra. Big Chandra with negate backup for the cast out. Well, that's probably bad for us. That card doesn't help us at all. I usually beat on post board with the creatures. It's usually not the approaches. I leave the approaches in, I guess, kind of to keep them honest, but like I usually don't win with the approaches. Could have used an Essence Scatter on that, but I'm not too worried about a Rogue Refiner. It replaces itself and everything, but like he's got a lot of threats that I can't really deal with that I care more about. Like I'd much rather get a Bristling Hydra with that, or a Rogue Refiner, or a another Scarab God. It's kind of like poor card advantage, though. There's a good chance that I should have just cast Essence Scatter on it. Like, that might have been a loose play. If he casts a second one, I'll probably counterspell a second one. Well, Scarab God's what we want to counterspell, so we're very happy we kept Essence Scatter now. He has to play something that matters sooner or later. Sure. Well, he didn't have a land for it. That's pretty lucky for us. Double cat. Sure, we'll keep the cats. I'm gonna play this before I play a cat, just because I don't want him drawing cards every turn. Our plans for basically the rest of the game, though, is just to like jam creature into creature into creature into creature. If he ever overextends well enough to kill all the creatures, we hopefully just have found another cast out or something by then. Alright, I guess we'll just try to win then. He could have a negate. Don't really care if he has a negate. He played like he's had a negate the whole game, but there's another approach in our deck somewhere, and I don't really care. I have not had the time to test either of those, but I've been paired versus at least a Grathstone quite a few times, and honestly, it didn't impress as much in game as it did on paper to me. So, actually having some problems now. Yeah. Exile 2 cards from your hand. So we're hurting now. If he has a third negate, you know, we're just not going to win. It'd be kind of unfortunate to lose this match. I found this match fairly easy, and I feel like we're pretty far ahead. I've always said on stream before that I don't feel like we win this match when they draw 2+ negates. So he's still just leaving 2 mana up, so he definitely... Oh, he doesn't have a third negate then. He would not play that if he had a third negate. There's just no chance he'd play that if he had another negate. So we have outs. We have outs, friends. Need to find a Wrath of God or the 4th approach. Another Linvala wouldn't be bad. I'm going to go ahead and block twice here, because it's really easy for him just to draw a removal spell. And I'd rather prevent 3 damage than none. So we have a 2-turn clock. Drawing another Fumigate, if it resolves, would give us quite a few more turns. I don't like how I've played this game in general, though. What? Does he have Elder Deep Fiends, too? Wonder what he was tapping mana for on my turn. I chumped with both cats just because, like, he's already showed us removal spells, and I'd rather get a guaranteed chump than, like, him possibly just having a removal spell and us not getting to chump at all. That's the same reason I'm not going to try to double or triple block this guy. Like, all 3 of our things would have to resolve or have to survive combat, and I think it's just too easy for him to have another lightning or an abrade or something. So I'm very willing just to throw 1 cat under the bus. I think when I kept both cats earlier in the game that I made a pretty large mistake. So we're down to 1 Linvala and 1 approach. Still 3 Fumigates. We didn't scry any to the bottom, I don't think. Kind of need one this turn, though. One pull, bro? There's no pull from Eternity in this deck, unfortunately. There's 1 approach left in the deck. I'm glad we didn't side it out. We considered siding it out for a second. Well, I considered siding it out for a second. Well, we have no hard counter spells, so if he has the third negate, we're just dead. Did not have the third negate. Huh. So he showed us Nicol Bolas, and he showed us Big Chandra, and we know he has a Little Chandra, and a bunch of negates. So the creatures don't seem that great then, do they? We just try to win if the approaches, I guess? That's what I'm thinking right now. I think just trying to win if the approaches is better than trying to win if the creatures. The creatures buy you a lot of time, but it's a lot of time for what? Kind of want one of these two, but that's probably overkill. All of these is probably overkill as well. We probably don't want to draw more than one or two. Yeah, probably don't want to draw more than one or two. Alright, let's try just to win if approaches. Kind of want to descend, but I'm going to try to win if just approaches. And this is not the type of hand that wins with just approach. I might should have brought the Gideon back in on the draw to have more answers to a turn 2 Longtusk Cub. Keep forgetting that we no longer have Immolating Glares or Effort Meltdowns in our deck, so we're a little weaker to things like Longtusk Cub. We're also weaker to not having lands. Four feels like the right number. There's just a good number of games where drawing 2 just wins the game. And it's harder for like the control decks and stuff to deal with all 4. Well, this card doesn't really get better. I've really liked the 4th approach. I sideboard it out occasionally, but not even that often. So we're going to have to start hitting some lands. Alright, so if we counterspell this, we still have a Supreme or Stasis Snare for this. But we're kind of like locked into needing a land if we do that. If we don't hit the land, things get incredibly bad. Kind of behind the 8-ball right now, though. sure. Red Rover, send a fumigate on over. I'm going to go ahead and do this during this step to attempt, or to avoid him playing a land and having the gate up. I think we're far enough behind that we need to look for the approach. Or for the fumigate. I don't know why I said approach. We're definitely pretty far behind now, though. So we need lands and a fumigate, and we need them quick. I think I want to start with just a big Blessing Alliance. Actually, I think I'm just going to Stasis Snare this turn and leave up Negate. And he left up Negate. So that's probably Doom. That probably spells Doom. Alright. Well, it's getting worse and worse for us. We're currently 17 cards deep, though. It's a pretty big hit. Left all his mana untapped. Kinda think it's too easy for him to have a counterspell. So we go down to 1 here. living on the edge. Fumigate or bust, friends. And if he's got double negate, we can't even beat that. Well, we don't want either of them. There's a fumigate. Yeah, well, we have some prayers. Double negate and we're dead. Not dead. Not in good shape, but not dead. And what's better than being not dead? We still died to Big Chandra, by the way. tapped double red first, so it's very likely Big Chandra. Yeah. Oh well. I think we played their outs. It happens. Sometimes you lose the good matches. I like how we played the game, though. This is an automated message from Twitch staff. We're experiencing technical difficulties with the Kappa emote. Please tap Kappa into the chat to make sure it works. Alright, I do not believe that's Twitch. Definitely not Twitch official, but that's fine. That's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Can't troll us when we don't care. Alright, well, we won the dice roll and our hand's pretty decent. Some would even call it decent. Opponent's at 5 cards. 5 and mulligan to the top. Oh, I don't even care. I was just curious if it was real or not. That's why I checked. Because that'd be a pretty good troll from the actual Twitch staff if it was real. Alright, so potentially our worst match. Could be a number of other decks too that just led with Mountain. No, we screwed, fam. Hey, didn't tap my mana right? Yep, we screwed, fam. This is not a match our deck's set up to beat. This is specifically not a hand that our deck's set up to beat either. Red Rober, send a 3-drop on over. Thank you. Well, it could be worse. Like, we could be dead already, and we're not, so could be worse. Ouch. Whatever it is, it hurts. Stop it. Stop making me bleed. Sure. It didn't used to be as bad as it is now, but yeah, it's pretty bad for us right now. Unfortunately, if he has it, he just gets to have it. We need to play the Fumigate the turn before he gets 6 mana. Or before the turn before he gets 6 mana, is rather what I'm trying to say. Yeah, a Hazoret plus a burn spell or something would just be the death of us. We do have 4 cast outs, and we do have 4 Blessing Lights, so like we're not 100% dead to him having an Hazoret. We're just in really, really bad shape if he has it. We also have 2 Gideons and a Stasis Snare. Alright, well that's better for us than it being Hazoret. I take it back. We'd rather it been Hazoret. We have a Spell Snare now for the one thing, though. Earthshaker? Sure. Yeah, he's got one of the older ones. The old Onslaught from Ed Beard. He's got like this little ATOG getting crushed or something. Ed Beard's who drew Psychotog, by the way, if I remember right. That's some magic trivia for you that might not be remotely accurate. Enjoy. Some magic trivia that might not be close to accurate. Trying an approach would be a nice draw step here. That's not an approach. Nice. Yeah, the old Odyssey lands look nice. How much more damage do we take from said Chandra that can ultimate next turn? Okay. How bad is it for us? Well, neither of those two help. Hey, we have a cast out. We're not just dead. Don't know if you guys have heard me say this before, but what's better than being not just dead? I think it's fine to dig this turn for something else. Getting to a trial seems playable. So if he draws an untapped land, that's kind of bad for us. But it may not be the end of the world. It's kind of interesting that he'd sack it then. Probably at least killing my Gideon with an Earthshaker. Could be worse though, could be a Hazoret. Sure. So the worst case scenario, the Gideon saved 5 points of life. Alright, we'll keep the farmland. Have this little Blessing Alliance, which is pretty good here. We have the potential to steal game 1. On our opponent's mulligan to 5. Oh wow, he doesn't have a follow-up? Yeah, we have to be a favorite since he didn't have a follow-up. Just gonna keep both of these. I want answers to his next spells anyway. Like, I'm not worried about him beating us with lands. I'm worried about him beating me with like little random things. Still have a cast out for a Chandra. Alright, well, he's done. Well, we're going to draw to approach next turn. It had to went the full... Not the full 7, but... Alright, so anyway, I've removed the 40s from the sideboard. I removed the Efferbounds and the Immolating Glares from the main deck, so we're definitely a lot worse versus them. In general, I think all of these things that gain life are at least reasonable versus them. And I typically cut out these slower spells. The Supreme Wills may come back in on the draw, or on the play rather. But on the draw, I think they're just too slow. Like, being able to get a 3-drop's pretty reasonable with them, but... Alright, well, like I said, we don't really have any interaction, so at least having a counterspell for a 3-drop and then a Gideon after that's at least something. But we're definitely not in good shape. Can't mulligan this hand, but don't expect this hand's good enough to win either, which is kind of a problem. If he doesn't have a 2-drop, I guess we'd be okay. Or if it's just Earthshaker Khenra, maybe we're okay. Beaumont, that's good enough to Essence Scatter. He didn't have a 2-drop last turn anyway, so this means is what he probably drew this turn. Which means we're probably getting Chandra'd. Could have like double burn spell or something for the Gideon as well, but it's better than it going to our face. Red Rober, send no Chandra on over. That's a Hazoret. Well, that could be worse. I think getting the Kazaret's better. It stops him from being able to discard cards and deal 2 damage. I wonder if it's ever worth it to bring in the Send in this match. Paying costs. I think you just realized it doesn't deal the damage. Okay. Okay. I hear Gideon's good. What do you guys think? No lightning strikes in the format, so I guess it's easy to glimmer right now. Double approach. I kind of feel like we can keep both of those and maybe just win. Feel like we can keep both of those. We get at least one more turn locking down this. Keeping the land might have been too much. Now he has a Ramian app, which he can finish the Gideon off with. Could always draw another Gideon, though. Man, drawing another Gideon right now would be absolutely brutal, wouldn't it? He can also just discard a card during my next turn or whatever, but... Let's just cycle the Censor first. Give us a little more information on what card we may want. Well, we certainly don't need another approach, and we don't need another land either, do we? There's a cast out. That's pretty solid. Sure. I think it's safe just to play the cat. I think it prevents the most damage. We just have to survive 2 turns, and the cat gives us a potential 3 blockers for the Hazoret itself, while being able to maybe keep this in shape. I'm fine with that. If he's got a removal spell to like blow out this little cat or whatever, he won't have enough damage to deal 21 damage to us, or how much ever we have, depending on what his card is. Like, say it was like a collective alliance or something. Alright, so he didn't have anything, so we're going to be like 25, and he's on a 1-turn clock. Their opponent drew kind of poorly, but sometimes you win, just like last match, when sometimes you lose matches that you're a fairly decent favorite versus, sometimes you win matches that you're a pretty big negative versus as well. I actually feel like we don't even need to approach this. Like, I could have just made a different block next turn and probably beat him with the cat and the cast out into Gideon. But it's a lot easier just to do this. Yeah, he could have a Warping Well. I've actually saw that in the sideboard of some of these red decks. Like that's not as crazy as that sounds. I have saw that in the sideboard of the red decks before. But like I said, I think we could win without it. And we got another try at it in like 5 turns, so like we're pretty okay. Alright, well, let's see if we can nail that pity chest. Again, if you like the content, you should follow my Twitter. You should also look at the description down below and follow both my Twitch and my YouTube, especially my YouTube. My YouTube needs as many follows as possible. On the Twitch, you'll see every time I go live and all the deck lists I play. On the YouTube, you'll see all the streams and some other content that hasn't been streamed. And at some point, you'll see a lot more content that hasn't been streamed. If you're watching from the YouTube, below the video in the description is links to the Twitch, the Twitter, and the deck list. And if you're in the Twitch chat, you can always type !deck list to see the deck list we're currently playing. And if it even gives you a clickable deck list, so like say you didn't know what Gideon did, and just seeing the name Gideon didn't help, you'd be able to click it and read it, or whatever. Or you can just ask me. But yeah. Again, also this week, all of these streams are going to be a little bit later, currently, like they currently are. I have some appointments later in the week, so I had to change my schedule a little bit. I get to go to the Frowntown Dentist. Always fun, always fun. Dentist Areno. Always fun Areno. So we go into round 5 for today. We won the Dash Row. This hand's a keep. It's a little slow, but it's a keep. Thank you for following KJesus 426993098. Great story. Turdurkin. That entertains me, by the way. Bellertogen. I apologize if I pronounced that poorly. Jeff the Giraffe. WYSP. Curry. Pufferfish. S. Stevens and Arthur. Appreciate all you guys following. Anyway, onward into the game. Had quite a few followers today. I'm supposed to have alerts. Hopefully I'll have them before Ixalan. Finally got the cable to plug up the other computer. Plug up the other monitor. If the other monitor actually works, we can start making some upgrades. If it doesn't work, we can start being real sad. It's another reddish deck. Could just be Temur leading a mountain to hold up like Magma Spray or like Bluff Magma Spray or something. Could just be mono red again too. Alright, sweet. Make a whole bunch of changes to our deck to try to beat mono red or to give up our mono red match and then just get paired versus it twice. Well, Gideon, it looks like you're going to prevent a little damage, but not much. Guess there's some world that he doesn't have the land or the cropper, and the Gideon is a little bit better than normal. I don't exactly know what world that is. But the worst case, the Gideon is going to prevent 5 damage. Hopefully that's enough. He could just have like a really bad draw too. Nope. That doesn't look like a bad draw at all. Now even a Beaumont Courier would kill it. Oh. The opponent had lots of things. We're in what I like to call trouble. We are in trouble. Trouble, trouble. We're in trouble. Fumigate helps, but like it doesn't solve all the problems because the turn that we play Fumigate, he can just play a Hazard or a Chandra or whatever. But I guess he could just not have those spells too. Even if he plays them this turn, we have to use the Censor. That's kind of bad for us. It's a third of our life though, so we don't have long to even find it. It's 4 damage and play with the runes now. It's another creature of some kind. Nope. Just an Incendiary flow to my face. So we have to have a Fumigate and other things. Bottom, bottom. Neither of those are a Fumigate. Not a good sign. What could we draw now? Oh, he's got 6 damage and lands now. Another Beaumont. Cycle. Hopefully we hit a Blessed Alliance. That's not a Blessed Alliance. Blessed Alliance would have been nice here. Alright, so one turn to draw Fumigate. If we draw to Fumigate, we probably win, right? Providing he doesn't have another Hazoret. Well, that's not it. Alright. Well, we went 18 cards deep and missed, but like I said, without any of our 2-mana interactive spells, I'm not expecting to beat this match. It's just kind of awkward that we got paired versus it twice like this. We normally don't. Which is why we cut those cards. Did we ever drop frames? Nope. Today was a good day in that regard. It's almost 7 p.m. here, and I need to go take kind of a walk before it gets too late. I actually would like to do another league, but I'm pretty sure if I leave to go take my walk, even though it just takes like 10 minutes, that everybody else will leave, and I kind of need to do that. A lot of people don't like the little breaks. So don't have double white for that. So we have 12 untapped white sources in this build. Or sorry, 8, only 8 that's untapped. I think we have to keep it. We have to get lucky to beat them anyway. So, like, I think this is better than mulliganing and hoping. Like, we already have 3 lands, and we're going to have to get the 5 lands to win anyway. At the worst case, we have to get the 5 lands. We have the cast out that can cycle, which is what I think makes it worth to keep. Alright, well, we got the lands at least. We have to see if we have enough time to. We have to see how good their draw is and if we have enough time to win beyond that. We might have been able to win last game if they didn't have Karl Zev and they just had Earthshaker. We're going to be able to draw a bunch of cards of this game. Kind of wish we'd kept the cast out now, but we didn't know we were going to draw the white mana. And the reason I cycled the cast out in the main phase is because we could have hit a farmland or a prairie stream, and playing those on turn 3 wouldn't have been good enough. Alright, so just have to survive until turn 8. How do we survive until turn 8? Guess he could not have another haste creature, that'd be helpful. Or maybe it's just Earthshaker? A Cropper's worst case scenario here. Not a Cropper. Cinderace Flow is not even that bad because he's not adding to the board. It kills Gideon, but I mean, killing Gideon while adding to the board is even worse. Wouldn't mind to draw another Gideon if that's how he chooses to kill it. Alright, he missed the land drop, which gives me hope. The third approach is a little sad. So we want like removal spells and lands now. That's disappointing. Big time fumigate. Red Rover, Red Rover. Certainly don't want you. And even though I need lands, I don't think I can keep that land. Need a fumigate to even get to the point to where playing land matters. There. We're taking a shock too. That's hurtful. So a number of things are great versus us right now. Unfortunately, he's going to get to draw as many cards as he wants off this Beaumont Courier, because we can't afford to take the Cropper damage. Untapped land may be enough. I don't know that it'll be, but it may be. It'll certainly be somewhat close if it isn't. Hey, I have to actually put those on the stack. So what do they do with the Beaumont? Oh, they shocked my face? That's probably bad for me as well. That's probably bad for me as well. So a Cropper would just about do it. What else just about does it? Honestly, practically anything. Alright, well, they have nothing. Heck yeah, I know I have to block. Alright, so now a Shock and an Incendiary Flow does it. Collective Defiance probably doesn't do it. So we're going to take 3 and lose one of our creatures, maybe? Since he's tapping 4 mana? Well, we might win this game. He's already played 2 shocks, so the odds of him shocking and flowing this turn aren't real high. If he has the other shock, though, I mean, it's good enough. Alright, so we're at 9 with 2 blockers. Thank God Skullcrack isn't in this format. How good would that deck be if Skullcrack was in the format? Woo. Alright. Pay 1 mana, draw 7 cards. 1 mana, 1 life, sack a creature, draw 6 cards. That's pretty overpowered, it feels like. Wait, what? You have to tap it for red, I think. Yeah. You have to take your point of damage, sir. I feel like they had a good draw this game. They left too many burn spells in. You probably shouldn't be leaving the shocks and stuff in. Cinderace flows are fine because they can also kill cats, but like the shocks aren't particularly good. Oh, is there? I've not saw it yet. That sounds pretty nice though. But that thing doesn't attack at all. Alright. But we have to win on to play game 3. That's not something we want to do. They do have Chandra Torture Defiance. That was in their hand and they chose not to play it. Alright, so how do we win on the draw versus them? We just get lucky and draw a crap ton of these? Probably not good enough. Yeah. Don't think we can get much better. If nothing else, we can still win games without the authorities. Just winning the matches, that's hard. Alright, we literally can't get a much better draw. But like I said before round 1, we took out all of the cards for Mono Red because we hadn't been getting paired versus it much, and we just happened to get paired versus it twice in a row. Happens. Thank you for following Nemo, Blue Steel Zero, the Trolla D27, Fuck You Too, and Jerry King. So he mulliganed to 5 and put on bottom. Not really. I never sideboard a Censor out. At the worst case, Censor can always hit a 3-drop, and it can always cycle. So while Censor is not great, the fact that it can always cycle on the draw matches means, and hit a 3-drop means I would almost always rather have it than Hieroglyph. Like I think Censor and Hieroglyph are very similar on the draw. And the Censor just seems like it has a little bit more of an upside. Well, we'll have to see what they played. They're down to 3 cards already. We have a Censor, a Supreme Will, and a Blessed Alliance. You know, for a mulligan, they had a good draw. Would really like to draw a Snasis Snare just to get this before they can draw cards. This is the thing that's probably going to keep them in the game. Because like right here, like this is a match that Censor probably shouldn't be great in, but like getting a 3-drop still plenty. Gideon, all right. Well, Gideon's not the bee's knees, so to speak, but if our opponent doesn't have Land Hazoret, it at least does something pretty relevant. If he does have Land Hazoret, it at least prevents 5 damage, and then we can play the cast out. Well, so our opponent had roughly the best mulligan he could have. So interesting. That's a mulligan to 5, and he went 1-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. I don't even do that very often when I have the full 7. And this Beaumont's going to go crazy. Tried it on Showdown. Had a draw with blue-red control. Lost to Mardu, though I played badly. Lost to Zombies and beat green-black counters really easily. Really like this deck and can't wait to settle the wreckage. Oh, I'm glad you built it and enjoyed it. So, what's the best draw for us right now? Obviously, just an untapped land, right? You know what that isn't? That isn't an untapped land. Do we want the land more? Or the 4 life more? Probably want the 4 life more. Probably want the 4 life more. I'm glad you like it, man. Yeah, the blue red control deck or the blue red control match versus this deck in paper is such a slow match. So they do have warping wells. Kind of don't even want to cast the Blessed Alliance now. I kind of just want to save Supreme Will. That's probably wrong. I probably have to cast the Blessed Alliance. We can't Blessed Alliance that. Not hitting the land was pretty bad for us this game. It's kind of unfortunate that our opponent mulliganed to 5 and is going to end up having a much better draw than we had. If we untap and draw a land and play this like we're still in it, but I'm just drawing those 4 more cards, and now this is going to start drawing cards. It's getting out of control pretty quickly. He can also still play any 4-drop that he has, and all his 4-drops are pretty brutal for us. The fact that he doesn't have another creature there is just super scary. Alright. He gets to do whatever he wants. One on top, one on bottom. Wonder if that was the Moto bug. We'll never know. Be interesting to see what's in our opponent's hand. We're in pretty bad shape now, though. We've not even seen an approach, and we still need more lands. The Fumigate's not even great. He gets to draw 3 cards. Or 4 cards, rather, and we'd only gain 1 life. Yep. Still don't think Shock should be in this deck, but that's fine. Oh, play the only one we can play. At least he didn't save the Shock. Alright, well. Just in case for some reason he doesn't block. He gets another 4 cards, though. I don't know how we're supposed to ever beat all this. I mean, it could be worse, I guess, but it's certainly not good. Opponent's drawn very poorly this game. Wow, he doesn't have a creature yet again. He doesn't have a creature yet again. I'm just going to play this for the 5 life. I don't care about not being able to get the... I don't care about not being able to get the angel. I just want the 5 life, and I'm not attacking because he could have a shock or something, which would make his Soulscar mages just beat my cats in combat. So maybe we draw another cat. Maybe we draw more ways to gain life. Maybe we just draw an approach. Who knows? But it looks at the moment like we have a chance this game, which I didn't think we had a chance before this. Alright, so he wants 2 more cards. So I'm going to go ahead and cycle this for the F6 value. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to block this with double cat. Well, we drew another cat. Meow meow. You have to tap the red mana, friend. Sure. So if we draw an untapped land, this other cat's really good. He didn't draw anything again. Our opponent's 24 cards deep into his deck and just not drawing anything ever. Our opponent's draws have been somewhat exciting. And when I say somewhat exciting, I mean potentially the worst draws I've ever saw. I guess I'm willing to attack with these now. Oh wow, he doesn't even have a burn spell to try to do blocks. Wow. Okay, getting lucky was the right strategy. We're at 21 life again. I mean, our opponent's drawn 24 cards. We're pretty lucky this game. Next turn, I guess we'll probably just turn Aldacat sideways then, if he didn't have anything. Wow. 4, 5, 8. Our opponent's hit 13 lands out of 25 cards. I honestly just assumed he was going to have some kind of removal spell in his hand, like an Abrade or a Shock or something, right? Like he's going through that many, he's going through 25 cards. I just assumed he would have some kind of instant. Oh my lord, we drew another cat. I really just assumed he was going to have some kind of instant. That would have gave both of these prowess and like put counters on things, but we're certainly attacking with everything now. Because it's about 1 million life link. Our life's going to approximately 1 million. Alright, well, we got lucky and got the 3-2. Find it kind of interesting that we took out all of our cards for mono red, but we beat mono red twice. We didn't remove any of our cards versus Temur, which is a match that I consider pretty good for us. And we lost to Temur. We beat blue, red, black, I guess. We never really saw what his black cards was, but that match doesn't feel particularly hard. And we lost to a little aggro control deck that had like cats and bomb things and eternalizes, which was a pretty fun deck. But I thought we were going to win that game. I think if I go back and watch this game, I'm sure that I lost this game by playing poorly. Like I don't feel like I could have lost either of these, or I don't feel like I could have lost game 2 if I was playing well. Anyway, so let's crack the chest and then get out of here. I would like to do another stream tonight, but I really need to go exercise. It's getting kind of late where I live. Alright, good luck me. I cover it with my hand, by the way, so I can't actually see what I'm opening. And then I have to like peel it. An Exploration. I don't think that's worth anything on Modo, but it's playable, so it's kind of a cool card at least. And I want to thank all the new people for coming by. And all of the hosts that we had today. We had quite a few good hosts. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had this many people in the chat room. So it actually kind of feels good. But anyway, so we're going to host somebody and then we're going to get out of here. Looks like most of my friends that are playing Battleground. He's playing Modern. He's playing Modern Cube. Alright. I guess I'll host. Good host. Nah. Again, thanks for all the new follows. Thanks for coming by. And if you really like what you're watching, please follow my Twitch chat and go down below and follow the Twitter and the YouTube if you want. On the Twitter, you'll find all the deck lists I play every time we go live. On the YouTube, you'll find a bunch of Before you do, yes, exclamation mark deck list. I would not suggest this deck if mono red is in your format a lot. But on the YouTube, you'll see all the streams every time, and some content that isn't on stream. There'll be more and more content that isn't on stream later. And if you're watching from YouTube, in the description to everything is the links to the Twitch, the Twitter, and the deck list. Again, I really appreciate you guys following, and let's host Jarvis. He's playing some Vintage. We might try some Vintage on the stream at some point. Anyway, if there's any decks you would like to see over the next couple of weeks, since we're kind of in the lull prior to Ixalan being released, drop me a line on the Twitter and or a YouTube comment or something, and we might play them. Depends on how interesting they look. But thanks again for the follows, and thanks again for watching. And